Bert Breer is here. He, of course, from the MMQB, and he does Amazon television. As the schedules come out, you've seen your Amazon games, Bert?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just get breaking news on your phone?
No. I'm ordering breakfast.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What? If you're on time, then you're late in terms of your brain. You couldn't talk enough off the air.
We're just happy you were here,
that.
man. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that.
No, the opener's great. Washington and Green Bay. Yeah. And I do think one thing that's interesting, to me at least, and this will resonate with you, one of the big things I was looking for was whether or not there was going to be a team that was going to get screwed the way that the Jets got screwed at the beginning of last year. And the NFL will never admit to these sorts of things, but there are complaints that they get internally from teams. And I know, like at the beginning of last year, and Fred, you remember this, they opened on a Monday night in San Francisco. When those guys are driving home on Tuesday morning from the practice facility, the sun is up in New York.
Right.
So you're basically, you're starting in San Francisco on a Monday night. Then the following Sunday, they are at Nashville, which isn't San Francisco, but it's still in another time zone. So you're giving them another road game, and then their home opener was on the following Thursday night. They went 2-1, but the 2 wins were against maybe the 2 worst teams in the league.
And they barely beat, and it took a terrible Will Levis interception for them to beat Tennessee.
Yeah. And then I think it had a lasting impact. And I think anybody who was there would tell you that took a chunk out of that team. And interestingly enough, and then the same thing I think with the Christmas teams. Now, they got kind of bailed out on that one, the league did, because they went Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday with those teams where they're playing 3 games in 10 days. To some degree, they got bailed out there because Kansas City and Houston, after they came out of that, had everything locked up. So both those teams sat everybody in Week 18. So, those teams didn't feel it quite as much. But I was interested to see if they were going to do that again to anyone. And there was only one example. And it was to the one team that would never complain, that has an owner that would never complain about being on those stages. You guys know who that owner is?
Is it Shad Khan?
No. What owner would never complain about being put on?
Oh, Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So it's the Cowboys, and it's they go ahead of Thanksgiving. It goes Monday, Sunday, Thursday, which is 3 games in 10 days. However, their bye is in front of that. So they have their bye, then the Monday night game. So I do think to some degree, where last year it felt like the governor came off and they were just, we don't care what the teams think. Let's just fill up the broadcast calendar. I do think that maybe they scaled
just
back.
a lot of weird stuff, though. I mean, I think Kansas City has a 3-game homestand. The Patriots have a 3-game road trip.
Mad Dog talked to a guy from the NFL who's in charge of the broadcasts or whatever, and he had an answer for everything. And Minnesota's got 2 international games in a row.
Back-to-back in different countries.
In different countries. And he was like, they wanted
now it's Ireland and England, which is like going from New York to Boston.
But he's like, they wanted it. And then he was talking about, well, if you have an international game, are you guaranteed to buy? And he's like, no. And he had an answer for everything.
You are. I mean, they'll ask you, do you want to buy after this? They'll generally accommodate that.
He said that it's too... That
it's harder
he said
now,
that, and he talked about playing in the UAE and stuff. He said that they were planning to have you play a game in Europe and then fly out to the Middle East.
Well,
and
Australia's next year.
Yeah. So he was talking about how he's like.
So I think what they're going to
he
do
was not. He was unapologetic. He's like, look, I can't guarantee. They might try to give him a buy, but he said this is all he said. He said, he goes, we can't guarantee him a buy, and he goes, and to be honest with you, the plan is to have, because he was like Minnesota. And he's like, yeah, Minnesota said they wanted it. Or so, they ended up wanting it.
Minnesota there's an advantage to what Minnesota got, though.
Yeah,
which is both those are neither of those games are road game or home games.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so basically so they're in the NFC, and this is one of the years where the NFC plays 8 home games and 9 road games. So they're in the most competitive division, maybe in all of football, right? In the NFC North. So all those NFC North teams are going to play 8 home games and 9 road games. They only have 7 true road games because 2 of those road games are overseas, which are road games for the other teams as well. Plus, the back end of that, the second game when they play Cleveland in London, they're going to have already been there for a week. So who's at an advantage, them or Cleveland?
Yeah, and that's how he described it, is that they wanted it. And so like, I mean, look for the NFL. They said, there's so many mouths to feed because now with the streaming and, what is there, like 6 different ways that you're going to need to get
somebody
the
calculate.
NFL?
You guys can look it up. Somebody calculated it. I think it was actually our media reporter, Jimmy Traina, calculated like how much it would cost to watch all the NFL games.
Yes, I saw
or
this.
all the different all the different
10 different services you have to download to get it all.
Like all the different subscriptions you would need. Now there are 2 sides to that. Number one is, well, if that game is at 1:00 on a Sunday, then if you have just normal TV, you're not going to be able to watch it anyway. The flip side of it is, well, if I'm going to pay for Sunday ticket and I'm not going to get that game, well, that sucks because now I'm paying for Sunday ticket and there's another game out there that when you pay for Sunday ticket, you're basically paying for I get to see all the games.
Yeah, I have Sunday ticket,
and that's not
it
necessarily
does
the case.
suck. But the thing about the streaming that I don't mind is I just won't watch it. Like when because then I almost become well, first of all, everyone has Amazon. Right. Everyone has Amazon Prime.
Everyone has Netflix.
And everyone has Netflix. So, but like I become like, I dig my heels in. Like when they were like, you need the Peacock to watch Kansas City, Miami. I'm like, I don't need to watch Kansas City, Miami. Who needs to watch it? I don't need to watch it.
You know what really sucks though is for the bars. Like now,
yes.
This is something that people don't pay attention to that actually is a factor where I remember this came up for, I read a story on it when Ohio State was playing like Maryland last year or whatever. And obviously like in a college town, a huge part for, if you're a bar and restaurant, like huge revenue is going to be off of those game weekends. Well, like you're not paying whatever it is, $13.99 a month. If you're a bar, you're paying way more than that to have the streamer on your TV, and you're probably not even able to buy it monthly. You probably have to buy it, and I think it's annually.
As a package.
Somebody like one of the games got put on Peacock, and like these bars were gonna have to pay like $20,000 just to I think it wasn't Ohio State, Maryland. It was Ohio State, Michigan State. I think that was on Peacock last year. So they were gonna have to pay $20,000 just to have that one game on their TV. And it's like, well, what do we only get 12 of these every year, and they're a huge driver for us and bringing people in and keeping our business alive. Like, what do we do? That sucks. You know what I mean?
That does suck. And
so there's all kinds of I think there's all kinds of fallout to this that's really different.
Well, they're going to push it until they have to pull back. I mean, they're going to test how far they can go. And you don't know how far you can go until you get there. And they're going to push it as far as they can.
Well, this is like when cable becomes the bargain again.
Yeah.
Because you're unspooling. The cable bundle is actually really smart if you think about it. And all streaming is all the different streaming platforms, that's like unspooling the cable bundle, right? Like so Paramount Plus, that's taking CBS properties off of, and I'm not taking shots at any of these people, it's just what it is. Like Paramount Plus is taking CBS properties off of cable television. Peacock is taking NBC properties off of cable television. So you're unspooling the bundle. So that's what the genius of the cable bundle was. And that's where I do have some sympathy for fans who do want to watch them as much of this as they possibly can.
Yeah, but again, the NFL is going to see how far they can take it, because there will become a point where, I mean, if you're a streamer now, you're not looking to make a profit on the NFL. Obviously, you're just looking to
to
get your foot in the door.
To get your foot in the door.
Only thing. I mean, the thing is, live sports are.
We talked about that at 6.
Yeah, live. That's the only thing anybody watches live anymore. Like it's the only. Like no one watches anything else live anymore.
And advertisers want live programming.
Yeah.
And they want all eyes on their ad at the same time. And so, yeah, it's all going to go back to live. Believe me, the live programming is you could.
There's no question. I mean, I can. When I'm on with you guys, I can feel the difference between this and like you can feel it when you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like there's 100% a difference.
There's that, and there's also that you can't make any money podcasting. There's no you can't. No one wants to advertise on it. It's just it is what it is.
I'm not being a company man here.
All the way live, baby.
Yeah,
Good for you.
But I do.
But it's part of the overall sales pitch.
you
It's like the whole, do you need this? Well, one of the reasons why you might need it is because it's live and it's happening right now. If something happens, it gets recorded 2 days ago, a week ago, Do I need to listen to it? Well, I guess not. If I really needed to watch it or listen to it, I would have watched it or listened to it by now.
I mean,
so
I
that's
got-
where
I got-
live trumps all that stuff.
I got that reaction when I did the stupid like Periscopes live at halftime during game. Like people love that. It was like, oh well, because you're interacting with me and I'm actually there. It's
Right.
not like you're not listening to some canned version of me. Like which I can understand that. Like the more you look at it, the more it makes sense.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the breaking point is for people. For me,
That's the NFL's methodology, though, with everything, whether it's the scheduling, whether it's the the travel, or the how many different services can we put these games on. Let's just keep pushing the boundaries here until somebody balks or the audience.
Just remember what the
or the fan base revolts. And so far, I don't know if they've tiptoed up to the line, but
you should have heard this guy yesterday, dude. He was just blowing through it. He didn't care. He's like, you think 2 international games is a big deal? He's like, wait until we go to the Middle East.
See,
That's what he said.
Wait till there's 20 regular season games and 6 of them are
all right,
outside of
so-
the country.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. Roger Goodell has said, I want this many, and we're going to increase international
Full
games. And
schedule.
you're talking about UA. You're talking about Australia next year.
So
I mean,
Australia's-
when does? Well, my overall point is, does the players' union ever push back on any of this in the future?
if it means more money, that's how they're going to tell it to the players that you get a percentage of all of this. I don't know how much power the union has. They've also got their executive director now is this guy Lloyd Howell, who's more a businessman. Like D. Smith was a lawyer, so they were more combative when D was in charge. It'll be interesting to see the way that he handles this because he may present these to the players as business propositions. The Australia thing is going to be interesting because I think the Australia thing next year is a gateway for them to test Labor Day weekend. And I think that that's probably what's going to happen. Like, I think they're probably going to open the season on Labor Day weekend in Australia.
You got to give the 2 teams
Yeah.
God forbid if they're not 2 West Coast teams, you got to give the 2
one
teams
of
a
them's-
bye week
one of
on the
them-
way
One of
back.
them's the Rams. We know that already.
So
Okay.
Labor Day weekend right now belongs to college football.
So Labor Day weekend, the NFL has played on Labor Day weekend in the past. They found, and they haven't done it in like 20 years, but they found in the past that it was not a good ratings weekend, which is why they've traditionally avoided it, right?
Okay.
If they go to 18 games and they start to have to play with the calendar a little bit more, do they keep pushing it back into February, or do they move it up and start a week earlier and start on Labor Day weekend? And I do think to some degree, the idea of starting on putting that game next year on Labor Day weekend would give them a test case. Like, is this game going to rate? And if it comes up with a really bad number, then maybe it just becomes like, okay, like this is going to be a novelty when we play in some place. Because Brazil, the reason they play Brazil the opening weekend is because that's a much longer flight. Getting to Brazil, that's a much longer flight than going to London or going to Madrid or even going to Germany. It's an 11-hour flight.
Yeah.
So like they went week 1 last year. So the teams that were playing in it could plan around it a little bit more and build up to it a little bit more. Obviously, with Australia, you're talking about not only a longer flight than Brazil, but like Brazil had no time zone issue. I think Brazil is maybe 1 time zone different than here.
So it's 9:20 p.m. right now in Melbourne. So when are they going to play that game locally there in Australia?
I remember
to where people will watch it
5
here?
a.m.
So they were. I think it was.
Need a time machine. Yeah, seriously. It's like when it's like, on New Year's Eve when
So
it's
it's 10 hours
they're-
time
they're-
difference, Hardy? 10 hours, right? You said it's 9, or no, is it 14 hours?
14 is what if Hardy's right.
9:20 p.m.
When they
Friday
announced
night.
when they announced this, I remember I had it, and I had what they were going to do. I think it was something like it was going to be maybe like at night here, but like the next day. It was going to be the next day, like midday.
If
in
you played in
Australia.
at midnight Australia time, it would still be
10 a.m. here.
well.
but
It would be
no.
7 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast.
No, but if you played it at noon Australia time.
That's 10 p.m. here.
10 p.m. here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if
Yes, 10 p.m. here.
So if you played it at 11 a.m. Australia time, now you're 9 p.m. East Coast. You're 6 p.m. in LA. I think it would be something like that.
Well,
And I think that was it. And then they were going to play it on maybe on a Saturday, and then they were going to fly home. And because of the time difference, if you fly from Australia, I think you get home the same day, where you lose a day going there.
So then you could play the Thursday game if need be.
Yeah.
Well, once you do
Saturday,
these big TV contracts and people are just throwing money around, now's the time to experiment with this stuff because everyone's on the books. You could try whatever you want. So
they're going to keep pushing the boundaries with all of this, of course.
That's it. Yeah, and again, I heard the guy from the league office, and he was unapologetic about all of it. He had an answer for everything.
I mean, Fred, you're right. Like their tone has changed.
Oh, for sure. He wasn't. He was just like, yeah, dude, we're doing all this. Because there was something about Thanksgiving that they were throwing something against the wall.
There was a college football playoff. It was the college football playoff. One of their guys said, like, that's an NFL day. It's like, okay, like you say that's an NFL day where the college football playoff triple header is, but then you schedule 3 games on Christmas on a Wednesday now. Wasn't that an NBA day? Like, so
that's
they sort of playing by
the Lord's
rules.
Day.
Yeah, because they put Chiefs.
Yeah, it is the Lord's Day.
They put Chief Cowboys on Thanksgiving because you would think, why would you waste Chief Cowboys for Thanksgiving? And they want to try to
break records.
To break records. They want 40 million. They said for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So and he said, yeah, we're kind of just screwing around and seeing how many people we can get. Like they're like experimenting because they're so flush right now that they're just.
They also had a deeper schedule this year because the NFC East plays the NFC North. The NFC North plays the AFC North. And then I think the AFC West,
whatever.
The
It's a
AFC
deep
West plays
schedule.
the NFC East, so there's a ton of good games.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.